How you doing, guys? I was watching a wrestling broadcast earlier last week, and one of the personalities was doing the color commentating. Now, this guy is sharp as a blade. I mean, he's very, very quick-witted. He had made a joke referring to one of the wrestlers that was quickly pulled from the broadcast, re-edited, and uploaded with an apology. Apparently, it was deemed hate speech or a racial comment. The sorry thing was he had made the same joke about 30 years ago. Now, this was what got this guy over, was his quick wit and his comebacks. And this is how he drew heat. Now, in the wrestling business, to sell tickets, your villains have to draw heat. So they were very colorful in some of their interviews and in some of their comebacks. My thing is, in this day and age where people are so easily offended and they have to watch everything they say, how can a heel draw heat if he has to curtail his comments? You can't. But this is the age we're living in. Matter of fact, there are two characters that you would not see on television today that we've seen in the past. One being Archie Bunker, the other being Al Bundy. Now, we all remember Married with Children, and most of us remember All in the Family. They were off-the-wall shows that actually laughed not at individuals, but laughed at the stereotypes. Today, you wouldn't see that because people are too easily offended. We all lived this life when we were Jehovah's Witnesses. Everybody was easily offended. You had to be very careful with everything you said. This they call the new personality. I opted to call it the Watchtower mask. And basically, because we were all repressed, we all had to fit this mold as a J-bot. You can only do that for so long before the real you comes out. It's like, look at a job interview. When you give somebody a job interview, they put their best foot forward. But as the weeks progress, you find out that this employee is not the same person that you interviewed. No, once they get more comfortable, they get a little bit freer with what they say. Not always a bad thing, but you get to know that person. And they're totally different from that one you interviewed. In the Kingdom Hall, this is very true. I opted not to live my life as a J-bot because I couldn't. I was jumped on so many times for things I said. And if I had to live my life like that, what's the point? Eventually, the real me did come out. And I was very quickly mocked, and that's the way it was for my remaining time in. People kind of avoided me. Well, okay, screw you. I started watching YouTube videos, I want to say 2014, it may have been earlier, I don't really remember. And then I started uploading videos. Now, I had somebody comment. I had only uploaded a few videos at that time. Now, the person didn't mean it offensively because we've spoken since then. He recommended that I put on a shirt and a tie and come across more professionally. I didn't quite know how to respond to that at the time, but I started thinking, that's just like the Kingdom Hall. If I have to be somebody I'm not, then what's the point of me even being out here? Yeah, I've lost subscribers because I've offended a few people over the last 2 years. Oh, well, that's me. But there's no way I could upload video after video after video if I'm putting on a show and being somebody I'm not. The unfortunate thing, there are many people in this community that fit that bill. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with coming across neutral or pleasant if that's your personality. But don't come down on people because they don't fit your perception of what the XJW community should be. Started thinking about that this morning. Very early this morning, Marvin at IMMKT uploaded a video about the XJW bubble. And this is basically what we all went through when we were Jehovah's Witnesses. We were all living in this little bubble. Unfortunately, this has carried over to the XJW community. Many are still living in that bubble. And unfortunately, when somebody uploads a video that goes against the majority, they get jumped on. Mike and Kim, perfect example. Apostate Jerky Boy, another example. Yes, he was off color, and his videos were exceedingly rude, But nobody's holding a shotgun to your head, guys. If you don't like somebody's content, watch somebody else. Now, I know not everybody likes my videos. I've lost a lot of subscribers over the last 2 years because I wasn't quite what they expected. My first few videos were quite serious, and I noticed a few subscribers dropped off when I decided to get a little bit off color one day. But that's me. Some days I might be serious, other days I might not. I may say something that the majority of you do not agree with, but that's my opinion. Unlike the Kingdom Hall, we are allowed opinions. Unfortunately, it's not just the XJW community. It's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. They're trying to do this to a society as a whole. Let's face it, hate speech, is that even a word? I never heard that when I was younger. We didn't worry about every little thing we said because somebody may have been offended. Now we got to go through life walking around a bunch of eggshells, careful not to crush any. What are people living their lives in bubble wrap? Are they that fragile? Apparently so. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this community that are also that fragile. November the 11th, I uploaded a video, and in all honesty, I uploaded it expecting to lose a few subscribers because of it. And I expected some negative comments. 99.9% of the comments that came in were quite favorable. I had one person throw a negative comment that, in all honesty, didn't really say anything, but basically alluding to the fact that that's my opinion, but I should keep it to myself. But the person I was speaking of had full reign to make their opinion known. Well, this person didn't make any sense with their comment. They didn't prove a point. So the only thing I did was respond to it, get over it. If they don't like it, like I said, they don't have to watch my videos. But this is getting so widespread right now. And now even YouTube is getting involved. I think we all know that December the 10th, I believe it is, that YouTube is going to be tightening their clamp on people's uploads. Now, some of it is necessary. The protection of children is necessary, but that's not their intention. Their intention is to make YouTube very one-sided. And I suspect that a lot of videos, if not channels altogether, are going to start disappearing with no notice, no warning, no explanation. They're just going to start vanishing. Unfortunately, alternative media is going to eventually be as one-sided as mainstream media. You can be careful what you say, but eventually something's going to slip up and YouTube is going to clamp down on you. And once again, what's the point of being out here if you have to be somebody you're not? That's just too much like a Kingdom Hall. And unfortunately now, it's getting much, much wider spread. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving coming up this week. And I will be back soon. I'm out of here.